When did someone deserve to get called a slur? Being the only black guy in my white friend group, I thought I was safe. People all over my town called me the N-word, but I had built a thicker skin, so I didn't care. It got to me sometimes because people in gym class would pretend to whip me with their towels as if I was their slave, but just to protect myself, I ruled it as them joking. But as we all got older, everyone realized the jokes were immature and some even apologized, but I told them not to worry about it. Everything was cool in college, up until I met Trent during orientation. The first thing he said to me was, "My God, looked at that hair. It's as soft as cotton. You pick it yourself?" But I didn't laugh, just glared at him. So he took the hint and stopped, until a couple nights later, when we found ourselves at a frat party. We were standing beside a group of attractive girls when his jokes reemerged. I always tell this one, pointing to me. It's amazing how his ancestors used to be out on the fields. Meanwhile, he's just partying his head off. I looked down at the ground. I didn't want to interrupt the laughter with confrontation, so I just let it slide. But once Trent figured out how to get girls' attention, he wasn't backing down. The entire night ended up as me just being the butt of every escalating joke. And by the time we were leaving, he was straight up referring to me as the N-word with the hard R. So when we were in the Uber back to my dorm, I fed him water and bread, also he could sober up. As soon as the Uber drove away, I swung at him. His lanky self stumbled backwards, and he had a fake surprised look plastered on his face. I told him if he ever tried anything like that again, we'd never speak again. He apologized and blamed it on the alcohol, and I guess his bruised face made me feel bad, because I ended up forgiving him. Even with what happened next, I still don't regret it, because I believe everyone deserves a second chance. Anyway, a few months later, his cousin was getting married. He invited me, but under one condition. I couldn't wear my cultural attire because it might scare the groom's parents. An awful gut feeling washed over me, and I even felt myself cringe a little bit, but still, I agreed, because after all, it was their day, not mine. Me and Trent ended up wearing matching suits, and I was looking forward to it because it was my first wedding. The ceremony was beautiful, and it even made me feel a little lovesick. Then came the banquet. I couldn't find Trent anywhere, and he had been in the bathroom for almost an hour. I chuckled to myself, thinking that he probably just drank too much champagne and proceeded to eat without him. But then, 10 minutes later, he came stumbling in. I almost vomited. His face was covered in what looked like black eyeliner, and his lips were all puffy. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch up. He then proceeded to actually say the N-word, again with the hard R. I stormed out of the room. The last thing I heard was some drunk chuckling. Tears filled my eyes as I blocked him on everything, with no intention of speaking to him again. The rest of my college life was uphill after that. To my surprise, Trent was an exception. Turns out not everyone is a racist piece of crap, and I actually made some real friends, and I never heard from him again, until a year after graduating. Somehow, he had gotten a hold of my email. In it, he sent 3 photos of him doing volunteer work in Nigeria, my hometown. He then sent a very long paragraph about how much he had changed, and how sorry he was. I didn't believe it, not for one bit, but I was impressed by his volunteer work, and his family had really great connections. So I agreed to meet him for dinner. His gait was confident, he smelled good, very put together. He apologized profusely, and told me that his parents had raised him on that type of humor. But he has since cut ties and gone NC, and he is disgusted with his past behavior. As I looked into his eyes, I swear I saw a look of genuineness. So I accepted, and we caught up a few more times after that. It was on the 4th time that he asked for a favor. He asked if I could come into his company and help them with an issue in the accounting department. I was an accountant. He promised to pay me $1,000 for my time, so I instantly agreed. It was a no-brainer. His company was just outside of Maine and New Hampshire, so it wasn't too far either. When we arrived, a wave of culture shock hit my body. Literally everyone was white. The secretaries, doormen, lawyers, everyone. I tried to shrug it off, but it was hard as they all stared at me with unbreaking eye contact. I ended up being there for the week, and at the end I sat in on a quarterly executive meeting. Nothing fancy, just some high-level discussion since I'd been helping. Midway through, one of the executives remarked that they had been relieved of the flag for 0 visible diversity. Everyone patted me on the back. My blood went cold. That's why I was there. I thought back to all the jokes Trent made, all the times he used my race as social currency, all the times he called me darky, and at that moment I just laughed. But behind my smile was something else, something more disturbing. Because if he thought he could use me as his diversity token without consequences, he was about to learn exactly how wrong he was. Full story on channel, linked below.